All right, fearless pre-dental students, let's get going on this review of the content that you learned in week 1 of lecture material. I will just say actually what I'll do is these are all the questions that we're going to go over today. I'll leave them up here for a second. Please, if you haven't seen them yet, feel free to pause, take some time trying to answer them, and then unpause and we will go through the answers together. So feel free to pause right now. Right, awesome. So I will just say, when I was taking this course, we went over all of this like dental history, and I was like, but he's not going to ask about that on the test, right? Right. And he did. So spoiler alert, he will definitely ask about it. And what I ended up doing, different studying works good for different people. I'll just tell you what I did. So I made like a chart, not a chart, but just like a plan of how many dates and people I had to learn by what day. And I was like, okay, so I have to learn like 3 of these a day or 7 of these a day or whatever it was. And then I would memorize like the dates in order and the names in order and then just like kind of match them up, excuse me, in my mind. And that was pretty effective for me, but I definitely think there's like other methods to get the same results. Oh, that was me. You'll see my Google search there. That was me Googling this one to remember what it was. And I think they said it was 10. So if I forget that later, we'll just remember that it's 10. All right. What are the different opportunities in the dental field? So I'll just move this. Yeah, so to learn that, we went with a good old-fashioned mnemonic pre-stamp Giga. From my pre-stamp Giga fans out there. So just one letter, I mean, you know how acronyms work. Stamp Giga. And then I would just like, when I took the course, I just wrote that down a few times. With regards to the matching, um, I don't know if it's particularly beneficial to like read through the answers together because you can read. What I will say is I shared a little bit before about how I learned them, but then other ideas that I would have would be just like making a flashcard that has the date on one side, um, and then like the person or their accomplishment on the other, or sort of the role that they played. Because I think that's kind of the template of what you're going to see on the exams is maybe you'll see like somebody's name and what they did, and you'll have to match that to a date, or the date and somebody's name, and you'll have to match that to what they did, type thing. And truthfully, I wish I could say to you like, well, yeah, but he's only going to actually ask about these 15. But like when he said when he says anything in the workbook is fair game, that's pretty much what he means. Um, yeah. Who was the first? I mean, this is all just history stuff until we get to about right here at number 8. So I will scroll down through these answers so you can check Washington's. Um, so feel free to check out your answers here, see if they're right. I'm sure they are. Brilliant pre-dental student. Yeah, so this is a good point here on number 8. What's the percent of 10, right? 10 in the perfect amalgam in today's composition. I would say learning those percentages, and I just remembered something actually, is going to be really beneficial because he will ask for those percentages like specifically. Okay, so I'll just tell you what I did. So on the perfected amalgam, hear me out. I said it's HAG season, cousin. That's what helped me remember because we had HG for mercury, AG for silver, Hag, SN, season for tin, CU for, and you can see how well my tin mnemonic worked. CU for copper and ZN for zinc. So Hag, season, cousin. That's how I remembered the order, and then I just memorized the percentages from there. And then it's Hag, season, but just palladium on today's composition. So that's what I did to learn that. Name the 5 members of the healthcare team. This is just, again, strictly memorization. Yeah, we're here. What are some of the occupational risks in dentistry? I would say being either familiarized with sort of the main topics, because there's like the bigger topics and then the specifics within the topics, or just like going through and reviewing each of the bullet points on that list would be really helpful. Naming 4 stresses. I personally did not lose a lot of sleep over that one. I just was like, I think I'll be able to lock down what would be stressful or what wouldn't when I'm given those options on the exam, because maybe it'll be like a select which one of these is not a member of the healthcare team or is not a stress. In the dental practice, you probably already know this. You've probably been told this 100 times, so sorry for the repeat. But there's a bank of questions that gets drawn from, and so sometimes if you know the answer, it's really awesome because you'll get that question 3 times. But yeah, okay. And then last thing, here we go over the dentist responsibilities. Josie had really big facts right here. You must know these verbatim. Yeah, he'll change like a word or two out, so it'll be important to know the actual words, like what I did. So like a lot of times in my experience, what would change was so each one of these, ethics in dentistry on page 20, begins with the dentist has a duty to blank. And a lot of times what he'll change is the word right after that. So instead of saying respect, he'll say whatever, some synonym of respect. And so learning those words really helped. So like matching up rights with respect, do not harm with refrain, do good to promote, fairness to treat, truthfulness to communicate. That was kind of a big thing. And then like all I'm saying is sometimes when it came down to 2 options that looked really similar, like their endings were the same and then of course their beginnings were the same, it was just that one word. So that's one thing that I'd keep an eye out for. And dentist responsibility to their patients. Yeah, I just memorized those word for word as well. So that's on page 20. I don't think there's anything particularly insightful that I can tell you about like the content of this, but hopefully some of those like preparation strategies will be helpful. So just as a heads up, I wasn't expecting this, and so I got kind of a late start on some of it, but he really does want you to know. He'll give you like this much history, and then he'll ask you about 5 of them, but it could be like any 5. And he wants you to know the ethics stuff word for word. He wants you to know the responsibility stuff word for word. He wants you to know the amalgam composition percentages, and then that's kind of what I would focus on if it was me, because I'm sure you've got plenty of other coursework and a lot of other content here in this class to be taken care of. But then from there, I would probably start looking at like the stresses in dental practice, occupational risks, and pros and cons, stuff that you can maybe deduce a little bit easier and don't have to have memorized verbatim. All right, that's the review for week 1. Just wanted to say, here it comes. You're gonna love this. Yeah, so just wanted to say if there's anything I can do to help out with course content, I'm happy to help. My name's Jonah. That's my email. That's my phone number. Please don't hesitate to shoot me a text message or an email, whatever you're more comfortable with. I'm happy to talk to you on the phone or on Zoom or over text. We could do like an office hours thing if there was something that you really had a question with, or if it's a quick question, please don't hesitate to reach out. Right, good luck studying. You're gonna do great. And trying to figure out how to pause the video. Talk to you soon.